Welcome to welcome to William Owen's poll from his own Discord. Look, here's what we'll do. We'll collectively come up with a name for this. For now, it's gonna be William Owen's Discord poll. So I have a Discord channel, link to join in the description, and we started doing some polls. And I'm asking the people on my Discord a question about video game. And they answer. This is how polls work. So let's see what I've asked for the first one. It's from late October, so I'm behind. All right, it was an eventful couple of weeks. Anyway, it's all about your favorite video game of all time. What's your favorite game of all time? Why is it your favorite game? What kind of game is it? RPG, fantasy, etc. When and where did you play it? Why or why not would you suggest someone to play that game? If you were to remake the game, what additions and subtractions will you make from the original game, if any? So, let's see what my community thinks about that. So first we have Ishan, which makes sense because those polls were his idea. So let's see what he's talking about. Oh, and just before I start, I'm gonna show you what the person said as a transparency's move from my part, but I'm not going to show you the text while I read it. I'm gonna instead put some gameplay of the game they're talking about. I think it's gonna be a lot more interesting than just to see, lines of text. So let's go. Ishan said, "What's your favorite game of all time?" Pokemon Black. Play it, William. I've played 2 Pokemon games. I've played them quite extensively. I've played the yellow, the Pikachu version on the original Nintendo Game Boy, and I've played one on my Nintendo DS, but right now I can't figure out which one it was. I'm gonna put it on the screen in text. I would just have to Google it, and I will know. Why is it your favorite game? Nostalgia. Love for Pokemon. First ever Pokemon game I played. Favorite generation of Pokemon and easy to emulate, along with fun memories of it. I guess it was on the GBA then, since it's easy to emulate. GBA was one hell of a console, man. What kind of game is it? It's RPG and monster catching taming. When and where did you play it? At home, I think over a decade ago. Played it whenever I got time after school on Sundays, etc. Why or why not would you suggest someone to play that game? Yeah, Ishan saw my typo there. Why or why? I would personally suggest it as it's a good starting Pokemon game. Nostalgic graphics, fun storyline, cool Pokemon, and cool Pokemon designs. Good character development and overall a fun experience for any Pokemon on Poke or Pokemon-like game lover, monster catcher, tamer, game lover. Have you ever heard of Cyralim? It's a pretty nice Pokemon game, more focused on combat, I would say, but I have this on my phone, Cyralim 3, and yeah, it's pretty good. If you were to remake the game, with what additions and subtractions would you make from the original game, if any? I'd change the high level required for some of the evolutions, add more in-game trade evolutions, make it a bit easier to level up in late game, make it less grindy. Give more XP per Pokemon late game, as late game is a bit grindy, and maybe add a few more post-game catchable Pokemon. Well, thank you very much, Ishan, for answering my poll. It was some great answers. Okay, Next, we have Shamrock Knox saying, what's your favorite game of all time? Baldur's Gate 2, Shadows of Amn. Why is it your favorite game? Well, I can already answer that since I've played this quite extensively. Baldur's Gate 1 and 2 were quite the shit back then. Those were... I remember, man. I remember the first time I've booted up Baldur's Gate and I was walking in the first starting little village city. I was like, oh my god, this is all I ever wanted from a video game. Baldur's Gate is just amazing, and I would agree that the second game got even bigger, and yeah, I mean, wow, Baldur's Gate, man. There's Baldur's Gate 3 on development right now. They're in early access, and from what I've seen, looks that it's gonna be quite a good game. Anyway, back to Shamrock. Why is it your favorite game? Single player, solid story with NPC character development and romance options. What kind of game it is? RPG. When and where did you play it? A long time ago. I5, it's a very long time ago, like 20 years ago. Why or why not would you suggest someone to play that game? I would only suggest this game to someone interested in developed story with bad graphics, by today's standard. Happy that you've added that because it still looks kind of great to me, to be perfectly honest. I have no problem with Baldur's Gate graphics. If you were to remake the game, what additions and subtractions would you make from the original game, if any? Other than modern graphics, I wouldn't change a thing. Yep. I wouldn't change it either. Thank you very much for your comment. Great pick. Now we have Jacksham saying, ask and you shall receive. He's saying that because you know, I started this little poll thing and only got 2 answers, and we were like, yeah, come on, we need at least 3. And it's a small Discord channel, but I hope that if you're listening to this, you will join and make it better. I mean, it's cozy. I like my Discord channel. It's a lot of fun, but we need more people. But anyway, that's the ask and ye shall receive comment was all about. All about your favorite video game of all time. What's your favorite game of all time? Probably Dragon Quest IV. I was not a big Dragon Quest guy. I haven't played much of them. I've played the PS2 one. I think it's 8, maybe. I liked it, but I don't know, the overall tone and how the characters interact was... I was more of a Tales of fan. You know, Tales of Symphonia, Tales of Legendia, Tales of this and that, you know. Why is it your favorite game? Fond memories of renting it from our local video store and playing it with my mom. Well, that explains a lot. I have fond memories of playing Top Gear 2 and Final Fight with my dad. What kind of game is it? It's a JRPG. When and where did you play it? I'm gonna say early 90s, but I don't remember exactly when it came out. At home with my mom. Why or why not would you suggest someone to play that game? Dragon Quest is essentially the franchise that launched JRPGs. Final Fantasy was more popular in the US, but almost everything about it is ripped from Dragon Quest, and Dragon Quest IV is probably the first great game in that franchise. If you were to remake the game, what additions and subtractions would you make from the original game, if any? Oof. It's kinda stingy on its run mechanics, so I'd make it a little easier to run. Well, thank you very much for your comment. Not super familiar with Dragon Quest series, but I do respect it a lot because I agree with you. It's definitely one of the big grandfathers of the JRPG genre of games. And now the last, but not the least, Guru Bitten, my podcast co-host. I'm gonna do mine after too. Maybe maybe more convoluted than what you all did, but I'm gonna tell you mine after Guru Bitten. So, she's saying, Minecraft, although I've stopped playing now. Well, yes, our favorite game doesn't have to be a game we play every day for the rest of our lives. It's fine, it can still be your favorite game. I think it is the absolute flexibility of the game that hooked me. No matter my mood, there's a type of Minecraft for that. Want to explore? Grab some food and take off. Want to quest? Download the player-made map and play their adventure. Want to just build without worrying about game mechanics? Turn on creative. Want to play mini games against others? Get on one of the big servers that host those. I have both mobile, Bedrock in parentheses, and PC, Java in parentheses, versions of Minecraft. I prefer mobile, but like many other games, they ceased support for these with weaker and older devices. When I started playing, worlds on mobile were limited in size because phones weren't that powerful back then. For years, they kept limited size works as an option, but they didn't include them into things like realms. I don't think you can even create them for single player now. I guess it makes sense from a company perspective to ignore customers without money, but it sure sucks when the game you have played and enjoyed for years runs slower and slower with every update, and eventually your device just can't handle it anymore. At first, you keep up with the news about what is going on in the game anyway, but who wants to keep reading about something they can't play? You are locked out, left behind, and neither the game makers nor the gaming press gives a shit about you. Let's face it. When is it the last time you saw an article about how X game includes a stripped down option for people with weak computers? It's all about the news, the flashy, and the super cool stuff the powerful computers can run. I'm sure my new iPad can run Minecraft with ease now, but I hadn't even downloaded it until this poll reminded me. Well, let us know if you did now. Your favorite game talk ends up kind of in a bittersweet ending, but I understand and share your feelings about losing. There's games that are even ripped off of the App Store, or I mean any store, any digital game store. So it kind of sucks to not be able to play your games anymore. It comes back to games preservation and stuff like that. It's super annoying, and yeah. Anyway. Okay, so I guess it is my turn, and I've thought about this for quite some time. If you would ask me what is your favorite game right now, it would probably be Bloodstained, Ritual of the Night, or maybe Dismantle. But if we talk about of all time, and this is where it's hard for me, because who knows if my favorite game of all time in 10 years will be Bloodstained in the end. But those are difficult questions, but you answered, so I need to answer too. So I will go with Persona 3. This is a JRPG, and this is my favorite game because it was the first of its kind. I was more of a I was playing a lot of adventure games, and I don't know, Resident Evil. I was playing that quite a bit. I was playing racing games. I was playing the Mario games, like Mario RPG and Paper Mario, stuff like that, Metroid. Those were my Zelda, I was playing those kind of thing. And at some point I got a PS2 because I wanted to play a Final Fantasy. And I stumbled upon Persona 3 FES. And, well, it seems like the guy is going to school and at night is going to dungeon. Looks kind of weird. And the moment it started, just the intro cinematic, it was so dark, so grim, people shooting themselves in the head to bring their persona to life, and it was, oh my god, it really blew me away. And it came at a time in my life where I was quite alone. I didn't, I was working a lot, and not necessarily with people. I was an audio engineer, and I was doing a lot of mixing and mastering just in my place, by myself pretty much. Well, not always, I still had some friends and all, but I was spending a lot of time alone. And in Persona 3 you have all those social link thing where you build up your friendship with some of the NPCs or people on your team, and they really became my friends. And that was that was something. And I'm a big dungeon RPG enjoyer. Games like Dungeon Master, Wizardry, Etrian Odyssey, name it. There's many of them. And the gameplay part, the combat gameplay part of Persona is really dungeon crawlery. You climb that tower up and up and up until the top, and kill monster, turn-based. So everything was speaking to me at that time. And while I do enjoy Persona 4 and 5 a lot, Persona 3 will always be very special to me. I have the portable version on my PlayStation Vita, and I still play it to this day. I mean, it's been a while, but now talking about it, I'm probably gonna start a new game real soon. And now for why or why not I would suggest someone to play it. I mean, I would suggest everybody to give it a shot, because there's something for everyone in that game. The social link, the school days, and then the dungeon crawling at night. The only people I would not recommend the game to is people that can't stand Japanese stuff or can't stand turn-based combat. But that's pretty much it. So anyway, this is pretty much it for me. I hope you've enjoyed the first edition of the Williams Howins Discord poll. Leave me in the comment section what's your favorite game if you were not in this poll. Join the Discord if you're not in the Discord. And also tell me what the name of this series of poll those videos should have, because right now it's not great. So anyway, thanks you all for watching, and bye bye.